following presentation deals with sins against nature which violate the 5th and 6th commandments. We advise parents to view the talk and then determine if they will or will not permit their children to view this video. Thank you.
So puberty blocking, the most common medication used is Lupron. If you read the package insert itself says, even if this medication is used to treat disease, it causes unstable emotions and may cause new mental illness. So these doctors are taking Lupron and they're giving it to children who are already emotionally disturbed. How they got away for so long with saying that this helps them, and they still claim it helps them, but the United Kingdom was the first to shut down the children's gender clinic. They had a single gender clinic in the United Kingdom, and they were the first one, because there were many whistleblowers that came out to document that the children that they had been putting on puberty blockers were faring worse than the children who did not have the blockers. They found that 1/3 got worse, 1/3 had no improvement. So that basically they were 2/3 of their patients who they claimed they were affirming, as their true selves, were still suffering significant mental distress. With Lupron, we also know that the children are robbed of their normal bone development. So these young kids who were put on puberty blockers, they can expect to have severe osteoporosis and bone fractures as young adults. We also know that we're disrupting the organization of the brain. So we might be impacting their IQ in a bad way. I mentioned before that once you combine the puberty blockers and the cross-sex hormones, you sterilize them. And they also, these children who have continued on the blockers and the cross-sex hormones cannot function sexually in a normal way either. Risk of the estrogen to the boys or males: blood clots, strokes, heart attacks, cancers, diabetes. Risks of testosterone to the girls: risk of heart attacks, diabetes, liver disease, cancers. Are we preventing suicide? Definitely not. This is important. I know I only have 2 minutes left. Everyone is always saying, oh my gosh, kids with this transgender belief, they have such a high risk of suicide. Their risk of suicide is no different from any other child at risk of suicide. So if you have anorexia nervosa, you have depression, autism, your risk of suicide is the same. It's elevated, but it's the same as the trans-identified child. What we want to do to address suicide, it is talk therapy. It's individual counseling and family counseling when you're dealing with children. Does transition work for adults? Even for adults, transition does not work. We've had 2 Swedish studies, and in Sweden, they are extremely pro-LGBT. In both cases, demonstrated that the adults who transition with hormones and surgery do worse than adults who are not given the surgery. And the most impressive one with regard to suicide, this was a study in Sweden that followed over 300 adults who had transitioned, followed them for 30 years, and their suicide rate was still 19 times greater than the general public. So again, there is no science behind the transgender movement. And my last slide, this is an icon used by a transgender activist who sort of stalks both the 2 organizations I'm with, the American College of Pediatricians and Advocates Protecting Children. And it is just so telling. I mean, clearly, this is the age of sin. Reject the order of creation. Revel in the annihilation of man as the image of God. Destroy, plot designs of death, disfigure the face of man and woman. So This is Lucifer all over it.